All right, so this is the start of our first segment. It's called Hometown Fools, and we're all just gonna talk a little bit about our hometowns of Atlanta, Baltimore, and Chicago, respectfully. So, my first thing I'd like to talk about is some lighter news. Recently, a cow was apprehended in northern Atlanta. The official statement from the police department was. Is anyone missing a portly bovine? They requested that they called them. So yeah, I thought that was a little interesting for a city.
That makes sense, like up here, I guess.
Yeah, but not really. I mean, I guess Georgia is a very agricultural state, but
yeah,
there's a lot of cows around here, though.
Yeah, that's true. Another thing. Money.com actually recently voted Atlanta to be the best place to live in the U.S. And I know that's probably
I think we should talk about this one.
That's probably pretty controversial. I know a lot of people maybe not agree. They've been to Atlanta. They thought it wasn't much. But I would argue that there's not a lot to do as a tourist. I would completely agree with that. Being a tourist in your own town, even, it's hard. Like, it's like there's not much to go do. But just growing up and it's very. If you're in the right part of town, it's really safe, and it's.
I think that has a lot to do with it, though. It's
right.
Like downtown Atlanta, I feel like where you live is.
Yeah.
I don't hear a whole lot of bad things about Atlanta.
Yeah, and I mean, most of my friends live in places with parks and lots of trees and woods, and it's very
It's like outskirts, kind of.
Would you say that? Kind of. It's kind of crazy in Atlanta. It's pretty the density goes down pretty fast. So there's houses, where I live is about 5-10 minutes from skyscrapers, and I live in a house. It's not even a townhouse. It's just a house.
Oh.
And, but yeah, it's really nice in that way. I feel like it's really, it's not walkable, but biking's a big thing. And there are a lot of parks and stuff like that. So that's really cool. And then, I mean, I'm not really a sports guy, but Atlanta teams have known to be bad. Shout out the Falcons, but right now Atlanta okay, don't remind me of that, man. That was rough. The Braves are doing really well. They're in the National League, and University of Georgia is also really doing hot. They
new powerhouse.
Yeah, new Alabama, some even say. So
that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, like you said, I'm from Baltimore. I'm a huge sports fan. But I don't know if Baltimore classifies as being a real sports town. There are definitely places like Buffalo you hear a lot about now that gets a lot of fame, I guess, for being a place that revolves around its sports. But the Ravens are always fun to watch. O's have been pretty embarrassing for a while, but they're starting to turn it around. And recently, a lot of people have been talking about Aaron Judge, how he hit his 61st home run, and how he's having one of the greatest seasons of all time. He just passed Babe Ruth, who had 60 in a year. And Babe Ruth is actually from Baltimore, so just put some respect on his name, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess my other kind of fun fact is that an NFL player that's actually came from my high school, named Brandon Copeland, was just signed to the Ravens last week. And that's just going to be really, really cool to follow, kind of hometown kid. Shout out Mom for giving me that that little tidbit. So yeah, Baltimore overall, I'd say solid city, definitely has some serious problems though. But I think it definitely gets a bad rap too.
Yeah. I think, and I'm from Chicago. And I think all of our cities have a bit of a crime rate issue, which, I mean, big cities, that'll happen. It's actually the anniversary from October of 1982 when 7 people were actually killed by taking poison Tylenol capsules, and this was a huge story. There were a few prime suspects, and it was just a wild crime. They found this guy, Roger Arnold, who had cyanide in his house, but it just kind of goes to show the wild crimes that have happened in Chicago then and since then. It's just some of them are incredibly random, and obviously it is a huge problem. Homicide rates really, I mean, it's kind of hard to find a direct solution to everything, but obviously it's a big problem. Also, Chicago Public Schools, not really renowned across the country. Their enrollment dropped 10% and lost their spot as the third most enrolled public school system in the U.S. behind New York and L.A. So yeah, really going downhill from there. And then I think a good thing that we can all agree on is that we have Lake Michigan, and Lake Michigan. It's a nice place to go. You can in the summer it's very nice. The whole lake effect, it's very nice.
In my opinion, it's one of the worst Great Lakes. I mean, you literally have Lake Superior, which is literally superior. I mean, shout out to the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald by Gordon Lightfoot. That's very good song.
It's a good connection,
and it's a good lake.
I agree.
I'm just gonna say not one of my favorites.
I feel like if you're going to use a Great Lake for the reasoning why your city is so great, like there's a lot of cities that are on Great Lakes.
Listen, we have freshwater, and you have whatever that is. Okay, so listen. After a short break, we'll be listening to "Helplessly Hoping" by one of my favorite folk groups, Crosby, Stills and Nash. But here's the break.
Okay, that was Real Love Baby by Father John Misty. We are going to get into our second segment. We're all really looking forward to it.
Excited.
So it's going to be Mount Rushmore. If you don't know what Mount Rushmore is, it's basically a type of draft game where we're all going to go around and pick our top 4 in a given category. Hence Mount Rushmore, top 4 presidents. We might debate that later, but we'll see. And yeah, so today's topic is Mount Rushmore of fall activities. We're going to start with Kyle.
In the spirit of it being start of October.
Yes, exactly.
First full fall month.
Okay. We'll agree to disagree.
Yeah, there's a little disagreements in whether September includes summer or not, but we're going to move past that.
Yeah, we could talk about that for a while. But anyway, we're going to start with Kyle for today. We'll go around the horn, and then when it gets down to Hayes, he'll go twice. We'll come back. Once something is drafted, it's off the board. It cannot be repeated, and someone outside of the show who doesn't know who voted what will decide who the winner is. The winner will choose the next topic and the order next time we do it. So without further ado, Kyle, your first pick.
All right. I have to go. It's a staple of fall, okay? It's a staple of fall and Halloween, okay? I'm not choosing Halloween, but I'm choosing going to a pumpkin patch. Because listen, it's not just the act of purchasing a pumpkin, although that is the main event of going to a pumpkin patch, but you also get the community that grew the pumpkins, the pictures of your children by that weird scarecrow that they brought from like the adjacent farm, right?
I actually don't think I've ever gone to a pumpkin patch.
Oh my God.
It's
really
criminal.
sad.
What was your childhood?
We just would go to like a church parking lot and they sold pumpkins.
Okay, ours were like every church sold pumpkins for some reason.
Yeah.
But they were like on the lawn, so it felt kind of.
But that's not like a patch.
Okay, listen. Let me explain my.
Wait, have you never been to a real?
I have been to a real pumpkin patch. Okay, I've been to a farm pumpkin patch. Okay, that's the most legit it gets. Okay, and then the last thing is just the beverages, the food. They always have apple cider, and pumpkins are so versatile, right? Because it's a fall decoration. You can make pumpkin puree. You can cook the seeds. There's just so many different options. So that's why I'm going with pumpkin patch.
Okay, but I don't think I would argue that you don't also get pumpkins with that. Pumpkins
you get like the activity of going to the pumpkin patch.
Right.
There are specific things underneath that umbrella that are also still on the board.
Cider as well.
So. Okay, yes.
Okay,
yes.
We'll see.
Okay, Cal. Let's see your pick.
Here we go. My pick. This is tough because my list is definitely different from you guys. I think I just got to take this one, even though I don't necessarily believe in it, but apple picking / orchards. I think that's just like a big thing people do in the fall. If you're dating someone, I think that's like a romantic type. I don't know. It's like a fun activity for couples, families. You'll see like people doing with newborns. It's just like a nice way. Like people like getting outside when it's like that perfect crispness in the air.
Crisp apple and crisp air.
There's something about the order of the alignment of the trees that's really pleasing.
Right.
People get to show off their sweaters and fall colors. So
flannel season.
Yeah, flannel season for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so my first pick, apple orchard.
Okay, so going in And with that vein, I'm gonna go with fall weather actually.
Okay.
Because I just feel like it's kind of the best throughout the year. Almost everywhere you go, I know in my hometown of Atlanta, it's always the nicest. It's not brutally hot. It's not brutally cold. It's not. You can wear like a sweatshirt and pants, and you're fine. And up here, maybe you need a jacket, but it's still a nice, crisp, but not like brutally cold where you can't be outside for more than 10 minutes. So I think that's it's my number one pick. And then number two is going to be apple cider. I just think apple cider is really delicious. I
could tell you wanted that one.
It's nice. It's nice when it's warm, and it's a really like nostalgic feeling of, it's like hot chocolate, but arguably even better sometimes. I don't know. I like hot chocolate too.
Sometimes
it can also be cold.
Well, cold or hot? What's your
on cider? It really depends on the situation.
Only get one. You only get one
for the rest of my life.
For the rest of your life.
I mean, can I let the hot stay out and become cold? No. Okay, so
nope, it's always hot. It never gets cold.
I think hot. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, those are my picks.
Okay. So back to me. My second pick got to be football.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't really expecting this to get taken from you guys, but anyway, football is like just like a fall thing. There are certain weather days where you get that itch where you're like, it's a football day. If you're playing or watching, I don't know. There's just something about it. It's special in the fall. You get into the winter months, it's not like, it's still football, but it's just not like the same. Like Thanksgiving football, like there's just something so special about that. And I look forward to this time of year for that very reason.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right. I get two picks now, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So my first one I'd say is just like going to a forest or experiencing the trees, right? I'll just say the trees, because the changing in colors, I think up here in upstate New York where we are, we get some of the most beautiful kind of like dynamic tree colors. It's just really pretty, just like the oranges, the yellow. Some stay green, the evergreen trees. And I think that's really fun. Also, we have a huge kind of like forest behind campus. So that's really fun to like
it's
hike
really
through.
pretty. Yeah.
So we kind of get to experience that and like be in the trees, like see the leaves falling in real time, which I think is a really fun activity to do just sporadically. And then I'd say my second pick, I have to go with Halloween.
Okay. Wow. I honestly am surprised that it was the seventh pick. I think.
That is true. It is one of the main
sleeper
fall events.
That's good.
I'd say obviously the dressing up is fun. When we were younger, trick or treating, always a highlight of my year.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Always. I thought about what I was going to dress up for like 2 months in advance, and it was always just such a great event. So those are my two picks.
Okay. Okay, so it's back to me. Good picks. I'm going to go with apple cider donuts.
Okay.
I've never been a huge apple cider guy, even though I respect the pick. Those apple cider donuts, when you get them from like a pumpkin patch too, like they're different if you have them with like a warm beverage too. And I don't know, heat them up. They're just really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's been a lot of apple cider donuts circulating around campus as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's been really nice. Okay, so my next pick is gonna be Thanksgiving. It had to come out. I just feel like, at least where I celebrate Thanksgiving, the leaves are kind of at their like peak, or maybe they're a little bit past their prime, but they're still looking really good. And just being around family. I know a lot of people don't get along with their family, but I just really like being around my family, and it's always a fun time. And the food is always great. I've got a lot of good chefs in the family, so
Sam.
That's always really nice. And then sweaters are my second one. I'm a big sweater guy. I like sweaters.
We can confirm this. Hayes does have some
huge
nice
sweater guy.
Big sweater guy. I think that they look good. I think that there's a lot of different. You can go in a lot of different fun directions with sweaters, and I think that, they're just kind of slept on. I think sweaters are where it's at.
I had that high on my list too. Yeah. Okay, back to me for my last pick. I'm going to go with people complaining about shorter days.
That's a high.
I think that happens all the time. I get it, but it's also like, okay, like
Well,
this happens
isn't
every
this a
year.
best fall things thing?
No, it's just fall
It's just
things.
fall things.
fall
Okay,
things.
okay,
Things.
fair.
Every year the days get shorter, and every year everyone's like, I can't believe the days are this short.
Yeah.
So, okay.
All
That's so true.
right. Last pick of the thing.
All right, last pick. I'm going to have to go with watching fall movies. Now, there aren't many fall movies.
No, I've heard of it.
There really aren't, but I'm talking Charlie Brown, The
Okay.
Great Pumpkin,
Good one. Good one.
exclusively. I'm talking
Classic.
about you watch it one weekend, the next weekend you watch it again, just because of how much you enjoy it. You can dissect Charlie Brown's actions, and you can
Yeah.
really just
Truly tells his tale.
He gets so
Really?
many
Yeah.
rocks.
so many, and just so much is packed
that
into
Great
that
Pumpkin's
animation
scary,
that
too.
it's just incredible. Anyway, I think that's our list. So we'll get back to the listeners on who is rated what with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Good Mount Rushmore, guys.
Yeah. So after another short PSA, we will be listening to "Reminiscing" by Little River Band, followed by "Where You Lead" by Carole King.